How's everybody doing today? Long time no see. Was even contemplating or not if I was going to keep making some videos, but I can't stay away from you guys for too long. It gets really interesting just kind of sitting afar, seeing all the nonsense and crap that goes on YouTube. That's some ways so childish in a lot of ways. But to get on with what I'm going to talk about today is a few things actually. One is going to be on their left. You have the power amplifier. That's the Yamaha MX5000. Above it is a Knoll amplifier. Knoll Electronics is no longer in business. I bought that as a secondary amp for an emergency amp for the amp on the left, which is the Yamaha MX5000. It has the two fans as you see on the bottom of the amp. The amp is sitting on its side. That's how disgusted I am with it. And you're saying to yourself, disgusted? My gosh, that's a $3,000 amplifier, 11.1 channel surround I'm running right now. Actually, it's a little bit more with the three subwoofers I have. But anyway, the amplifier has decided to go out after almost 2 years of ownership, if you could believe that nonsense. What is the world coming to today where the electronics are so cheap now that they're going to sell an amplifier for so much money and then have it go out on you just before the warranty? Or if I would have waited a little bit longer, it'd be just right after the warranty. But we're going to see if they're going to cover it and everything's going to be okay. They're going to send a box out, and we're going to see how this bad boy comes back, if it's going to be any good. But I'm so disappointed in it. I hate stuff that's been repaired or refurbished because it seems like it always goes back out within another year or two. That's my experience. I don't know about everybody else's. Below it is the PS Audio P600. That's the big silver piece. It's a legendary power line reconditioner. It reconditions your AC power going into your home and puts it back out as clean power. It's a reconditioner. It's not a power conditioner. It's not a line. It's a line stabilizer and stuff like that. And it's probably one of the best ever made. It weighs a total of 125 pounds. So I usually go big, as you can see. I go big on my equipment. I have the whole Dolby Atmos setup, in-wall speakers, in the ceiling, and all that kind of good stuff. I got installed about 2 years ago, as some of you know. But I'm just so disgusting. I do have a separate subwoofer amplifier as well that has went out on me that I'm disgusted with. That separate amplifier was made by Artingson. If you're not familiar with it, go look it up. They run about $2,000 for the sub with the amp. And I forget what model it is, but it's Artingson. And it comes with a separate amplifier and from the subwoofer. And that amplifier went out. They covered that, underneath the warranty. I had a friend of mine that used to work for them that handled that for me as well. So that went nice and smooth and easy. But I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? I spent all this money on some of this equipment. Should I have just went down and got something at Best Buy for, $700-800 and called it a day? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how long that stuff's going either. It's just seems like we are getting, one of my old expressions, bamboozled by these manufacturers in buying this equipment and just getting blatantly ripped off with the longevity of use of these units. So I'm just really disgusted, and I'm glad to be back on YouTube. If you look for a new 930E, 1 year later, 930E, Sony, one of the best TVs, LCDs ever made by Sony. And if you looked at some of their new equipment, boy, they have really scaled back on LCD. Looks like they're going to go full OLED here within the next couple of years or whatever else. But I was noticing a lot of people with their TVs, and the battles still keep going on. But the funny thing about the whole thing is, I've said this a few years ago, none of these TVs seem to have light years ahead of the other TV when you buy it. You bring it home, it has this a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit brighter, a little bit darker, a little bit sharper, a little bit more edge of detail, etc., etc. Nothing seems to be light years ahead of the other TV sets. It's just a matter of now what you would like to go with, OLED or LCD, or OLED or LCD. It just seems to go back and forth, back and forth. And I notice you still have your fanboys out here just cheering on these products that are really not built that great anymore, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anything that's really built as far as a TV set that really outshines anything else. I mean, my 930E is still amongst the highest TV levels of picture quality out there. And it's been, it's been 2017 was the big year for the 930E. So it's been out a couple of years already, and it still holds its own. So we'll see what happens with some of the stuff coming out, recently. I know a lot of people are getting on some of those Samsungs, like Samsung's staying strong with the LCDs. The biggest thing and the problem I had with Samsung was the color accuracy, not the color volume. That's a different thing. I've discussed it with a personal friend of mine that I met off YouTube, actually, that both of us were discussing the difference between color volume and color accuracy. Color accuracy is the color that you see and how accurate it is. If I look outside at a tree and I look at on the TV set, how accurate that is as well. So color volume is a whole different thing. I won't get into that right now. But color accuracy on the Samsung TVs, to me personally, are not very accurate unless you go get it calibrated at the factory. And I know a lot of people think the same thing. Sony is outstanding with color accuracy, but they have a whole bag of new issues now with these new TV sets that came out with. Seems like they're building cheaper and cheaper and cheaper every year, and looks like they're asking a little bit less in retail of the TV sets, but to my understanding, there's only a few out there now that are worth purchasing on the Sony line. It just seems like they've kind of dropped the ball quite a bit now. So my next TV, as I've said to a few people, is going to be a 77-inch LG OLED. We're looking at probably a C8 or C9. I believe that's the model number. Down the road, I'm just still looking for a deal on one. They had a deal at Micro Center for $4,000. I missed that deal. I think they only had just a few of them, and by the time I chimed in on that, they're all gone, of course, for the $4,000. They're going for $7,000 now, which is ridiculous. I'll never pay $7,000 for any TV set. But that's what I'm looking at, the 77-inch OLED. For me, I think that's going to be the ultimate movie machine to watch movies on. My 930E is probably the best overall TV for viewing for everything, like TV set, just regular TV viewing, which I watch a lot of, old school stuff, news, just from going from channel to channel, your little sitcoms, your Netflix, your little stuff like that off the TV set. Some of it is even off-air antenna, when I watch some of the football games, basketball and stuff like that. That's what my 930E, I consider that one of the best TVs for that. Now, for movies, I'd give it an 8 or 9. It's just a little bit, the blacks aren't as good as an OLED, of course. And when you watch movies, man, those blacks, there's nothing better than watching in a dim room. I'm not going to go dark completely, but a dim room, and you have that excellent blacks of a OLED TV. As one YouTuber says so much. Guy just harps on blacks, and that's all he talks about is the blacks. It's ridiculous. But just wanted to get back in touch with you guys. Hope you guys have a good day today, and look for some further videos coming up. I've been spending a lot of time on my coral reef. That's what you probably see, the little blue coming from the bluish purple light coming from the left there. And I've been having a blast with it, and I'm going to make a video on that as well. We're almost coming up on 1 year on that even. So since the last coral reef video of the actual initial setup. But y'all have a good one out there, and I'll stay in touch. We'll see ya.